And because he took people, I said, don't do it anymore. You know, they work for me. And he took, beyond that, he took some others. And once he did that, that was the end of him.
So that was explanation number 2. It was a question of business ethics. Let that sink in. But here's explanation number 3 from his own press secretary, which flat out says her boss split with Epstein because of what he was doing to young girls.
Can you address their substance? Did the president ever spend hours at Jeffrey Epstein's house with a victim?
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach, and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep.
So there are 3 explanations for the split, which the DOJ files might be able to clarify, and now possibly more than one timeline. Remember, this week's batch of emails contains one from 2016, just days after the election, in which Epstein says he was in New York at Trump Tower, though we have no independent confirmation that he was actually there or who he saw or didn't see if he was. At a minimum, though, that email raises questions about the president's claim their relationship ended in the mid-2000s, something the Epstein files could clear up. But even if they have nothing to say on the subject, if the president is right and he has done nothing wrong here, wouldn't the files confirm that? Wouldn't they confirm, as he claims, that only Democrats are culpable? Never mind transparency or concern for survivors or even simple justice. Wouldn't plain old self-interest argue he does the opposite of what he's been doing all along? So there's a lot going on tonight. Starting us off, Chief White House Correspondent and anchor of The Source, Caitlin Collins. Caitlin, the president on Air Force One speaking just moments ago. What else has he been saying?
Well, essentially, he was trying to make this argument, John, that he had nothing to do with Jay Clayton being picked as the person who was going to head up this investigation. But of course, that is something that came just about 4 hours after he posted this morning that he was directing and asking the Attorney General Pam Bondi to conduct this investigation only to the high-profile Democrats who were named in those emails that we got from the House Oversight Committee this week, even though Donald Trump, of course, was also named personally by Jeffrey Epstein in multiple of those emails, more times than Bill Clinton is actually named in the tranche that we got this week. And so the president is arguing that he does have the right to ask the Justice Department to conduct investigations. Obviously, this is a complete bypass of a traditional line of independence between the West Wing and the Department of Justice, with Pam Bondi coming out and saying, yes, we will conduct this investigation that the president was asking for, and here's who's going to do it. But I think the other thing that stood out to me, John, is just listening to the president there as he was arguing that Republicans who are supporting the discharge petition on Capitol Hill, that they're dumb and that they are buying into a Democratic plot here, basically, is what he's saying, to distract from his success and Republican success. But of course, by announcing this investigation, they are only prolonging the Epstein storyline even further. And of course, you have to highlight it comes 4 months after the Justice Department said there was nothing else to investigate.
Yeah, there's nothing else to investigate. Now he's launching an investigation. What are sources behind the scenes telling you about this shift in strategy?
I think the White House this has totally gotten out of their control and out of their hands. I remember the day after it was maybe 2 days after the DOJ put that statement out in July 2025, Trump had a cabinet meeting, and it was when MAGA was blowing up, and everyone was so upset about the DOJ coming out and saying no other people were going to be charged as a result of this investigation. And the president kind of exploded when a reporter asked him about it inside the cabinet meeting that followed after, saying, "Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?" And of course, that has led to where we are now, where it is dominated as a storyline in a way that completely has surprised people that I've spoken to inside this administration, inside this White House. And now with the announcement of this investigation and Reid Hoffman saying, well, this is a ploy to just not release the emails, just to say there's an investigation ongoing, he's saying just release all the emails.
Look, this is a White House that is largely driving the storyline here. Caitlin Collins, great to see you. You're going to have a few things to talk about at the top of the hour on The Source. Thank you very much.